I understand. Most people are like children. That's why the world is the way it is. The world is the way it is because most people are like children. They are not growing up. They are not developing adult responsibilities. They are not taking care of things they need to take care of. They're not growing and learning. They're not entering the third stage of life with a higher meaning. They're not returning any value to society. Some people are just not some people are just not people. I mean, people become robots after a period of time. They just repeat the same thing again and again and again and again. They don't learn anything and they don't grow. It's not like that in all families, but it's like that in my family. I was listening to some philosophy about Nietzsche, and Nietzsche was a philosopher. Nietzsche and Carl Jung, and I was listening to some information about their philosophies, and it was more Jung than Nietzsche, but they're connected anyway. Jung presented a philosophy that one of the biggest problems in the Western world was that Christianity does not have a role model for older men, because Christ died at the age of 33 plus minus, yeah? And so there's no model in society for what older men should do. And as a result, families in the West are less connected. They're disconnected, in fact, as a result. And you know what's happening in the world is you see Europe being invaded by the Islamic countries because there's no men in Europe. There's no men. They've been emancipated. Yeah, the men have become women.
Who are we?
Well, look, Slovakia is a very special country because Slovakia is one of the few countries where men have not been emancipated. It hasn't happened here because Slovakia is still Slovakia is still kind of hardcore because communism never died here. There's just a slow transition from communist communism to capitalist communism, but it's still the same system basically. And life for a lot of people in this country is very hard. And there's no possibility for people, for men to get emancipated here because life is hard. You have responsibilities, you have things you have to do. You can't sit back and relax. You can't. You know, in other Western countries now, you know, the men can act like women. And they do. They worry about their hair, and they worry about their fashion, and they worry about the language they use. They're like women. And what happens is all the Islamic men from the Middle East, they come into Europe and there's no resistance. There's no resistance because the men are like women. And so, and part of the problem is because of men, and part of the problem is because of women. Women now want men who are more like women than men. And so it's a downward spiral. It's just a downward spiral into nothingness, and that's what's happening right now. And the older generation don't know what to do. You know, they are like children, because I'll tell you why they're like children. They're like children because all they do all day is play games. That's what they do. They play games. They've got their card games in there. They just play games. It's they do nothing that is important. They fill their life full of meaningless activities, little activities that have no value. And they don't learn anything. You know, they get their entertainment from the television, and from talking about the television. And the television is not real. It's not real. Nothing positive ever came from the television, in the sense that it's a one-way medium. Yeah, I don't know where people find the time to watch television. I haven't had time for 6 months, the last 6 months, to watch any television. I always think that reading is key. Reading is key to learning and to getting new ideas and to moving forward. If you read a good book and you get into the story that's in the book, then it can help you. You know, just trying to turn off. Trying to turn off is not going to help, because there's a problem and you have to get over the problem or get around the problem, and if you turn off, you just ignore the problem. It's about I think it's about constructive approaches to it.